Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mutahar, and I'm not excited about the new Splinter Cell remake. Okay, I'm not keeping my expectations up too high. Okay, now you might be like, "Oh, that's a little negativity going on," but you know, I've always eschewed the belief that listen, if you keep your expectations really low, you'll never be disappointed. But in the world of remakes and remasters and video games in general, it seems like recently that can absolutely be lowered if the development team is set right. Look, we all remember Cyberpunk 2077. We all know how that dog shit turned out. Before anybody comes in, it's like, but no, let's admit it. It was a bad launch. You know, with games like GTA the Definitive Edition, I actually couldn't think that developers could screw up 20-year-old games. But hey, it happens, okay? It's done. It's right there. I bought the disc edition so I could have a physical manifestation of that dog shit. But then, you know, Splinter Cell Remake got announced a couple days ago, and I was about to make a video literally just screaming to the high heavens. But then I remembered, oh wow, Ubisoft's making it, damn! Now, Ubisoft's recent game catalog, okay, is literally just open world. In fact, Ubisoft's been an open world champion for a while. Literally fire up any recent Ubisoft game, and you can open up the map screen, and it's almost getting hard to identify the difference between all of them, okay? Recently, Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, and the map screen is literally just, hey boys, here's some artifacts for you to find, here's some 5-minute quest lines, and here's some loot for you to grab. That's all you really have in those three games, you know? Like, or not three games, but like that's how carnal the entire instinct has gotten. Far Cry, alright buckos, here's some points on a map, blow shit up. Hey, there's some towers for you to unlock, you unlock the towers. Here's 6 points of interest for you to go find. That's pretty much it, okay? There's like hundreds of hours of gameplay in a Ubisoft game. How much of that is meaningful? Probably like 15% of them, okay? That's pretty much the vibe I get. And it's not to say old Ubisoft games were different. Look, Assassin's Creed 2, that thing had so many points on the map, the game literally lagged back in the day. But that game was paced well. The story was there. It was a fun vibe all the way through. And hey, all those points on the map actually meant something. All right, there you go, Ubisoft. Put that one through your heads. But you know, Splinter Cell is that franchise that's been dead since 2013, okay? I haven't seen Sam Fisher's cute face since 2013 with Splinter Cell Blacklist. And, you know, maybe that might have been a good thing, because modern Ubisoft, you could kind of see tarnishing Splinter Cell with Splinter Cell Conviction. If you like Splinter Cell Conviction unironically, you are in fact a cuck. Let me get started with it, okay? So Splinter Cell Conviction is that point in Splinter Cell where like they started to turn the franchise into much more of a modern take. So there was a lot more action. Sam Fisher wasn't hiding no bodies. Sam Fisher wasn't picking no locks. Sam Fisher was climbing walls, climbing pipes like Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2, jumping onto them and cracking necks. It was pretty fun to play, but it's also not Splinter Cell. And God, thank you, we didn't get the original variant of Splinter Cell where Sam was running around like a homeless person. That would have been hilarious. But see, I think Splinter Cell peaked at Splinter Cell Chaos Theory and Splinter Cell Double Agent for the original Xbox, not the Xbox 360. They had two different versions because the power difference between the systems was so big. Now, recently they announced this remake, and it's actually being done by Ubisoft Toronto, from what I believe the same people who made Far Cry 6. And this actually has a lot of the original development team in place. So already there's reasons to be excited, okay? It's already got like the right steps in the direction. But to understand, there's been a few articles that I've been reading, especially on my feed recently. Splinter Cell Remake officially announced, not open world. This is one of the many articles I've read from multiple different websites. And you can already see when you see the word open world, that like when Ubisoft is attached, that's the first thing people think of. Now, it has been announced that it is a linear game. And that's where Splinter Cell works best, in linear missions. And it obviously can't be open world. The original Splinter Cell game, which is being remade, takes place in multiple countries. Okay, you've got Georgia, you've got the United States, you've got China, you've got, you know, just various locations Sam goes through. It's a globe-trotting adventure. So obviously, it ain't gonna be open world. However, I have heard sentiments that it's gonna be like open world-ish in terms of level design. Kind of the same way Hitman is open world. It's just large levels with multiple points of infiltration, of stealth, various objectives that you can complete. Honestly, Splinter Cell's been there. I think when I look at the best Splinter Cell game ever made, possibly one of the best games ever made, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, that's a level design right there. Okay, if you play that game, you'll notice that the levels are large, they have multiple points for you to infiltrate through, and there's various objectives, secondary and optional, for you to hit and have a good time. That's where I think Splinter Cell peaked the best it ever could. See, the original Splinter Cell game for me has not aged terribly well. It's very linear in its design. There's very few ways that you can sort of tackle objectives differently. It's very much you figure out the way the game wants you to play and you tackle it that way. So if they're going to remake the level design, it's a reason for me to look really closely. They also focused on the idea of light versus dark, which is literally the stealth dynamic of Splinter Cell. If you ever played the original game, you'll notice that its stealth element is very similar to a game like Thief. I would say Splinter Cell has the best stealth elements of any stealth action franchise. Metal Gear is nice, but it's not really hardcore stealth, okay? You could literally stand in front of an enemy from like 15 feet and they might probably go, huh? What's that in the distance? I don't know, brother. You might need to get cataract surgery, okay? Just putting it out there. With Splinter Cell, it's like, uh-oh, Sam, you're either dark as hell, blended into the shadows, or you're lit up like a Christmas tree. There's actually gauges in the game that'll point you to that direction. It'll give you actual feedback as to how visible you are in front of the enemy. And it'll even tell you about sounds you're making, the general acoustics in the area. And that's, I think, really cool. That's what brings actual stealth elements to Splinter Cell, and I really, really enjoy it. And the AI is also pretty decent in all these games too. It will absolutely destroy you if caught. One of the things that I want Splinter Cell to have right from the get-go is the mentality of you are absolutely lethal and scary when not caught. When you are caught, the game will punish you and absolutely murder you. The problem with modern gaming that I find sometimes is going to sound kind of pretentious, but it seems like games cater to almost everyone. And you kind of have to if you want to make your money back. I get it. But there are some games that I feel aren't built to be catered to. You know, it's kind of like when you go up to like From Software and it's like, can this game have like an absolute easy mode attached to it? I don't mind an easy mode, but like, what are you going to do to Dark Souls that doesn't change the fundamental ethos of the game? Are you going to make the enemies hit but deliver less HP damage to you? Maybe that'll work. But the idea of like Splinter Cell is this is a punishing stealth franchise. You're supposed to take it methodically, you're supposed to take it low and slow, and there's going to be a lot of quick saving in between them. And if you get caught, yeah, guess what? They're gonna do you in. If you get into a firefight in the original Splinter Cell game, it's over in seconds. Either you kill the two enemies you're going up against, or they will absolutely demolish Sam that quickly. The game also doesn't give you a crap ton of ammo between each level anyways, so you better be using that gun relatively sparingly, and I hope that's the vibe they go with in this game. The only thing I'm scared of with this Splinter Cell remake whatsoever is if for some reason Ubisoft funnels in NFTs in some capacities or some bullshit microtransaction like, hey guys, here's third echelon skins, alright, here's skins for your SC2000, just give us $20. Don't be a cuck, don't fall for that. And the other thing that I'm absolutely scared of is if they go the Splinter Cell Blacklist and Conviction route. Now Blacklist was the better game, but if they turn Sam into like a literal running killing machine instead of that low and slow methodical gameplay I just told you about, that's what's going to blow a lot of original fans away. And that's what makes remakes incredibly difficult. Look, you have to find a way to cater to old people like me who have been with this franchise since day one, okay? And you also got to cater to a bunch of new people who are going to look at Splinter Cell on the shelf and go, huh, what's that? And they're going to jump in. And if it's too slow for them, I get it. They're probably going to want to take away the game. But this is a beloved franchise, and I want Splinter Cell to be here. But I also want Splinter Cell to remain Splinter Cell. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to keep my expectations so far in check. Because in reality, they can't screw this up. If this game comes out and it's absolutely a dog water Splinter Cell game, like the last two have been in terms of reception, in terms of the general Splinter Cell vibe they went for, that's what's going to be a problem, okay? And that's where I'm genuinely terrified of how they treat one of my favorite franchises to have ever existed. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about the original Splinter Cell remake, how you think they're going to handle it, but I had to get my thoughts out because, frankly, this has been stuck in my head. And yeah, hopefully it comes out great. Hopefully it turns out awesome. This is me, Mutahara, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.